Welcome to this deep dive. Looks like you guys really want us to dig into The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden.
Oh, yeah, definitely a popular one.
For sure. And this one, it's not just any thriller. It's the third book in a series about Millie.
Right.
Our housemaid turned, well, amateur sleuth.
Hmm.
But we're going to focus on excerpts from the book itself for this deep dive,
Yeah.
focusing on what makes Millie tick and why the story is such a page-turner.
Okay.
But there's a twist with Millie this time around. She's
Uh-huh.
got a past. She's a convicted killer trying to rebuild her life.
That's definitely going to make things interesting.
Right.
Yeah. It immediately makes you question her reliability as a narrator. Like, can we trust her perspective at all?
Yeah.
Is she truly reformed, or is this past a sign of something darker to come?
Yeah.
McFadden really uses that tension well
For sure.
to keep the reader on edge.
Totally. And she wastes no time
Yeah.
ratcheting up the suspense, too.
Yeah.
The book opens with a dead body.
Oh, wow.
And Millie covered in blood.
So right off the bat,
Talk about starting with a bang.
yeah, that's a pretty classic hook.
Yeah.
Just to grab the reader's attention from the very first page.
Right.
But it also really sets up
Yeah.
the high stakes that Millie is in
Oh, for sure.
right away.
Yeah.
It tells us that looks can be deceiving and that danger can be hiding
Yeah.
just beneath the surface of
Yeah.
everyday life.
So we've got this convicted killer. She's trying to start fresh.
Right.
And boom, she's suddenly right in the middle of another potential crime scene.
Mm.
It's like she can't escape her past at all.
Exactly. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
her job as a housemaid,
Yeah.
it gives her this unique access into other people's lives.
Right. She's always.
She's always observing, gathering information,
Yeah.
which could be both, an advantage
Mm-hmm.
and a liability
Oh, for sure.
in this situation.
Especially in this situation.
Right.
Well, since we're talking about observing.
Let's talk about Millie's neighbors, the Lowells.
Okay.
They seem like the perfect family on the surface, right?
Yeah.
Wealthy, successful,
Picture perfect.
but something feels off about them,
Oh, absolutely.
don't you think?
McFadden uses contrast really well to create that tension.
Okay.
The Lowells, they represent everything Millie wants. But their seemingly perfect life. It's
Right.
all just a facade.
Yeah.
Suzette, the wife,
Mhm.
she's overly friendly,
Yeah.
almost invasive.
Yeah. And the way she's always
Right.
flirting with Enzo,
Oh, yeah, Millie's husband.
it just makes things even more unsettling.
Definitely.
And Jonathan, the husband, he's kind of a blank slate.
Yeah.
You never really know what he's thinking.
Yeah, which is almost creepier
Right.
than if he was outwardly hostile or something.
Yeah, it's that ambiguity surrounding Jonathan
Yeah,
that
yeah.
just makes him so unsettling.
You get the feeling that
Yeah.
there's just more to him than meets the eye. Absolutely. And then things take a turn when the Lowell children disappear.
Oh, wow.
Every parent's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And it really changes everything.
It flips the script.
What do you think the children disappearing represents in the story?
I think it's like a catalyst,
Okay.
It pushes the plot forward
Yeah.
and forces Millie to become more active.
Right.
She's not just watching anymore.
Yeah.
She has to do something.
Yeah.
She's driven by this need to protect,
Mm-hmm.
to find those missing children.
But it makes her think about her own past, too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a reminder that no matter how hard she tries
Yeah.
to build a new life,
Yeah.
she can't outrun her past.
Okay, so we've got a missing children case. We've got our ex-con protagonist. We've got these neighbors that are definitely hiding something.
Yeah.
And on top of all that,
What else could there be?
there's a secret room.
Oh, no way.
Not just any room, it's hidden behind a wallpaper
Wow.
in the Lowell's seemingly perfect house.
What do you make of that?
What do I make of that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the secret room, it's more than just a space, right?
Right.
It's like this symbol of the dark secrets that are hidden throughout the story.
Okay.
Think about it.
Hmm.
You've got this killer trying to run from her past.
Yeah.
You've got this perfect family that's not so perfect.
Yeah.
Now we've got this secret room
Yeah.
filled with who knows what.
Yeah.
It just shows how much deception and manipulation is
Uh-huh.
really going on.
Yeah. It's all connected.
And just when you think things can't get crazier,
Yeah.
Jonathan Lowell ends up dead.
Oh, my God.
Murdered.
So now it's a murder mystery on top of everything else.
Right. What does that do to the story?
Well, it throws everything we thought we knew
Yeah.
about all these characters
Right.
right out the window.
Yeah.
And suddenly everyone is a suspect.
Everyone.
Even Millie
Right.
and her past,
Yeah.
It makes her an easy target.
Absolutely.
So it makes you wonder,
Can she overcome that stigma to find the real truth?
Right. Yeah, it makes you question everything you thought you knew.
Yeah, sure.
It's like starting the book all over again.
Exactly.
But with even higher stakes this time.
Yeah, and Millie's right in the thick of it.
She always is.
And, Jonathan's death, it really throws another wrench in things.
Oh, yeah.
Because now it's not just Millie's past.
Right.
There's even more suspicion.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes you think,
Yeah.
how much should someone's past affect how we see them now?
It definitely raises some questions about judgment,
Yeah.
especially when people are trying to move on from those past mistakes.
Right.
But speaking of judgments,
Yeah.
one thing that really struck me
Okay.
was the difference between Millie and Enzo's background.
Okay.
Working class and the Lowells,
Mm.
all their wealth.
Oh, yeah, that contrast.
Did you get that sense, too?
Absolutely, yeah, that class difference, it's like woven through the whole story.
Yeah.
The clothes they wear.
Food, how they decorate their homes.
Yeah, it's like they're living in two totally separate worlds.
Totally.
Even though they're right next door to each other.
And that's exactly what McFadden is doing,
Okay.
using those little details
Yeah.
to highlight the power dynamics.
Right.
The Lowells they represent.
Hmm.
That upper class, all the privilege that comes with it.
Yeah.
Their prejudices even.
Yeah, and Millie and Enzo,
Right.
they're struggling.
They represent those struggles of the working class.
Trying to get by in a world.
Right, that feels stacked against them.
Totally. Remember that scene where Suzette,
Oh, yeah.
she's showing Millie around their house, and she's like, oh, your place is so cozy.
Oh, gosh, I remember that.
Like she's looking down on them.
It felt so condescending.
So condescending.
It really showed that power imbalance between them.
And it's like Millie,
Yeah.
she's always wanting that life,
Hmm.
but she just can't quite reach it.
Right. And then her past.
Right. And then
It adds yet another layer to all of that.
it's like she's judged for that
Yeah.
and then judged again.
And again, for her class.
For her class, yeah.
So she's an easy target.
You know? Especially in a community like that.
Right, where appearances are everything.
So we've got this class tension, this murder mystery, and Millie is still struggling with her past.
Right, and then to top it all off,
Right.
all these hidden rooms.
The hidden rooms, yeah. Not just at the Lowell's place.
Yeah, it seems like everyone is hiding something.
It's like everyone's got these secret lives going on.
It makes you wonder
Right.
if anyone in this story is really being honest.
With anyone, yeah.
Right, even with themselves.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of honesty,
Okay,
Enzo confesses.
he does.
Out of the blue, he admits to killing Jonathan.
He does, but is he telling the truth?
Right. That's the question.
Right, because as a reader,
Yeah.
you're seeing all of Millie's thoughts,
Yeah.
her doubts. You notice things in his story.
Yeah. Things aren't quite adding up.
Right, so it makes you question his motives.
Yeah. Like, who is he protecting and why?
It's like you said, classic unreliable narrator.
Totally. Yeah.
McFadden throws us a curveball.
She does, and then
And then when we find out who really did it,
for real killer, it's
it's a twist
totally.
that nobody sees coming.
It's Enzo's daughter, Ada.
Ada.
She's the one who actually killed Jonathan.
It's wild because throughout the book,
Right. She's this innocent kid.
Right.
To find out she's capable of murder.
yeah, it really makes you rethink everything.
It's mind-blowing.
It challenges those assumptions we have about kids
Right.
and how complex their inner lives really are.
So why'd she do it?
Well, her reasons, they're complicated.
Yeah.
It's all about love, loyalty, and a really misguided sense of justice.
Okay.
It turns out Jonathan had been abusing Nico.
Her brother.
Yeah, and Ada felt like she had no choice.
She had to protect him.
Right.
So it makes you think,
Right.
how far would you go for family?
Exactly. It's a moral dilemma
Right.
with no easy answers.
Yeah, there's a lot of gray area there.
McFadden doesn't give us a clear resolution,
Right.
but she makes us face those tough questions head on.
And then we get another perspective.
We do.
Martha, the cleaning lady,
Artha, right?
she tells her own story.
She does.
We learn about her abusive husband,
Right.
her desperate attempts to escape.
How do you think that connects
Yeah, how does that?
to Millie's story?
Well, I think it's like
Yeah,
they're both survivors,
they are.
but their paths are so different.
They are, right.
Millie's trying to rebuild her life,
Right.
start a family, find redemption.
And Martha.
But Martha, she just wants to disappear.
She just wants to escape.
Completely.
And she's been planning it for a while.
She's been stashing cash,
Right.
planning her escape route,
Smart.
even leading Millie and Enzo to their new house.
What?
So she can watch them.
She's playing a long game.
She's a master manipulator.
She is.
Using her job to gather information, orchestrate this escape.
But then her plan, it takes a dark turn.
It does.
She kills Jonathan, too.
Another shocking twist.
It really throws everything off.
So do you think her actions were justified?
That's a tough one.
Right.
She's a victim of abuse.
Right. She's desperate.
Desperate to escape.
But she still took a life.
She did. Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, McFadden doesn't make it easy for us.
She doesn't.
So where are we now?
Well, let's see.
Enzo's in jail.
Right, covering for Ada.
Suzette's clueless.
About everything.
About everything, yeah.
The danger she was in, her husband.
And Millie.
Yeah, Millie's in a tough spot.
She knows the truth.
She does.
But does she protect her family or do what's right?
It's a tough choice.
Bleak ending, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's definitely an ending.
Yeah.
That makes you feel uneasy.
Yeah.
But it also makes you think about justice, forgiveness,
right,
redemption even.
Can Millie ever really move on, knowing what she knows?
Yeah. And what about Ada?
Can she ever find peace?
These questions.
Yeah, they stick with you.
They linger.
So let's talk about some of the broader themes.
Sounds good.
One that really stood out to me was that sense of paranoia, suspicion that's all over this book.
It's everywhere, right? Everyone's watching everyone else.
Through windows, security cameras.
Yeah.
Even those hidden peepholes.
Like no one feels safe.
Right. They're constantly being watched.
Always being judged.
Like we're all living in a fishbowl.
Yeah. Do you think McFadden is saying something about...
You think so?
Our modern obsession with surveillance? Like we're losing our privacy.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely something that's relevant today.
Right.
Yeah, we've got cameras everywhere.
Right.
Social media is tracking everything we do.
Yeah. And the fear of being canceled.
Yeah, for anything.
Right.
It's like we're constantly being watched.
Yeah, and in the book, all the characters, they know this.
They're always looking over their shoulder.
Wondering who's watching them.
Yeah, and what secrets might come out.
It just adds to that feeling that no one's safe.
Right.
In this story.
Totally. And it makes you think about the power dynamics too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like those with access to information.
Right, those with the technology.
They have the upper hand.
They do, yeah.
Think about how Millie uses her job.
Oh, yeah.
To learn about the Lowells.
Right. She can see them, hear their conversations.
Yeah.
Go into their private spaces.
And most people can't do that.
Right. It's like she's using what she knows to protect herself.
And her family.
But it also makes her part of that whole surveillance thing.
Right.
She's both a victim of it and someone who's doing it too.
It makes her character even more complex.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just her.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone in the book is keeping an eye on somebody.
Right.
Whether it's Martha spying on Millie and Enzo.
Yeah.
Or the Lowells using their money and influence.
Right. To control what people know.
It shows that we're all caught up in it.
We are.
Whether we realize it or not.
Right, those webs of power and surveillance.
Well, we can't forget about domestic abuse.
Oh, definitely.
It's so important to Martha's story.
Right, it shapes her whole world.
How so?
Well, it makes her distrustful, but also resourceful.
Okay.
And fiercely protective.
Right.
She's always had to survive. Yeah. In a world where she's threatened.
So that's what drives her.
It does, even to do extreme things.
Do you think she would have resorted to violence?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
If she hadn't been abused.
Right. Did her abuser basically create the monster she became?
Yeah.
It's impossible to know for sure.
Right.
But McFadden shows us Martha as survivor.
Right.
She's strong, but she's also vulnerable.
Yeah. She's both a victim.
And capable of.
And capable of extreme things.
Taking drastic action.
It's like trauma has a ripple effect.
It can change your choices.
And who you become.
Yeah. Without you even realizing it.
It's powerful stuff.
We also have to talk about Millie's past.
Yeah.
You know, being a convicted killer.
That's a big part of who she is.
Do you think she ever really escapes that?
That's the question that haunts her.
Right.
Throughout the whole book.
Yeah, she's trying to make up for it.
Right. She wants to prove she's changed.
Yeah. But that label.
Right, that stigma.
That follows her.
Everywhere she goes.
It affects how people see her.
Yeah, and as she sees herself.
Right. It's like she's carrying this weight that she can never put down.
That guilt and shame.
It makes you feel for her.
Oh, totally. It makes her more relatable.
Right.
More human. You see her struggles, her doubts, her fears.
Yeah.
You can't help but root for her.
Even when she makes those icky choices.
Right. Even when you don't agree.
Well, speaking of those choices.
Okay.
Let's get back to her decision at the end.
To protect her family.
Yeah. Even though it means Ada gets away with murder.
It's such a tough one.
Right. Is it the wrong thing to do, or is it unconditional love?
It's that moral ambiguity that makes the ending so powerful.
Okay.
And leaves you thinking about it long after you're done reading.
So on the one hand,
Yeah.
she's covering up a crime.
Right, which is wrong.
But on the other hand,
yeah,
she's protecting her family.
that's a basic human instinct.
It's tough.
It really is. McFadden doesn't make it easy.
No, she doesn't. It reminds us that life isn't black and white.
It's all shades of gray.
We have to make hard choices.
We do.
And sometimes those choices, they make us face our own morals.
Our own sense of right and wrong.
And that's what makes this book so good.
It is. It keeps you guessing.
Yeah, it's exciting, but it also makes you think.
It does.
About good and evil.
About the darkness inside all of us.
It shows that even normal people have secrets.
Everyone has something to hide.
It's like you said, it's a masterclass.
It is. It's suspenseful.
Yeah, and it explores the dark side.
It does.
It's human nature.
Yeah, and it shows that even in those ordinary lives, there are secrets right there under the surface.
Just waiting to be found.
Exactly.
So when you guys go back and read The Housemaid is Watching, keep all this in mind.
And think about those themes.
The surveillance.
The class differences.
Yeah, the effects of trauma.
McFadden uses them all.
To create a really chilling story.
It's one you won't forget.
And as always, come to your own conclusions.
Right.
Think for yourselves.
Question everything.
Embrace the messiness of being human.
Love that.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll catch you next time for another one.